You have one of those things, one of those phrases, one of those insights that you have heard reflected back to you time and again about who you are. Something people just have repeated for as long as you can remember. For as long as I can remember, since my teenage years at least. Bobby, you have a voice for radio. I've heard that exact line time and again in every decade of my life, year after year. Bobby, you have a voice for radio. You have a great voice. Nothing I can do about that. As far as the fact that I have it, it just is. I have it. Have you ever experienced that? Or just people kind of always mention this thing, notice this thing. People you've known forever, people that meet you for the first time. Or maybe it's more like a gift or a skill that you have. For me, sometimes I'll get, wow, that was kind of a deep thought, an insightful thought. And I'm not saying this to pat myself on the back, but I'll get that somehow what I just offered, what I said, what I shared went a few layers beyond where people usually think or look, and I don't mean for it to happen that way. I don't look to go deep, be deep. Do you have this, like, you have certain things in you that they're just, they're kind of natural, they're innate to you. You almost don't notice it because that's just who you are, but people will from time to time and even kind of regularly reflect it back to you. Oh, the other one, and I bet you have a few of these. Another one that comes for me is honestly in most settings where I've worked alongside people, one-on-one, teams, groups, faith communities. Bobby, you are a breath of fresh air. And again, I'm not looking for pats on the back and gosh, you're just so amazing, Bobby. No, I don't even notice this is happening. People just regularly put it that way. They talk about my energy at its best, at its highest, at its even somewhat normal as a breath of fresh air. I've gotten these kind of words back. Do you get this? Right? You may not get the same ones I get, but I bet you get things that people observe about you, and they are repeatable at this point. If you just think for a few moments about offhand things people have said, formal reviews you've had, conversations with, again, newer folks, old-time friends, what are some of the phrases people say about you, things they appreciate about you, ways they describe you that's like, gosh, that that is so you. And you're like, I guess so, but you don't even think about it. You're not even aware most of the time because it's just you. We have some great gifts. Usually our greatest, most unique, most important gifts that we have to offer in this lifetime, usually the gifts that honestly, when we're using them, animate us with that highest and best energy. Like we just love what we do, and even if it's hard, usually it's when we're harnessing that space, honestly, we're not fully aware of. It's just kind of who we are. We didn't even know it was a thing until everyone kept commenting on it. And why is it has taken me years to do a podcast episode like this? Yeah, I've done podcast episodes. I've done one for the church I used to serve, and I did some for a while where I was reading the short stories that I wrote that eventually became a book. But sort of the podcast where I offer reflections on life and leadership and creativity, and we're going to talk about how that all intersects in this particular one. Podcasts where I offer monologue insights, podcasts where I interview and work with guests, and I haven't done it. Even though for years, I've thought about it. For years, people have said, I should do a podcast. You have a voice for radio. You have insightful, deep thoughts. You have a great way with connecting with people. A podcast, something like this would be perfect for you. And I go, yeah. Oh, man, that sounds great. I think it would just be fun. I don't even know where it would go, what would happen, but I think it'd be great. And yet every time I don't get there, there is some kind of strange resistance. Things keep coming up on the schedule. Seasons of the year get so packed full. Then I get sick. I literally lost my voice a week and a half ago when I was about to press record on this. Time and again, I have not done a podcast episode. Though for years, I've wanted to, and I've heard, Bobby, you'd be great at a podcast episode. Have you ever had this? Some of your best strengths, your unique gifts, your thing or two that honestly you're amazing at, and yet you somehow never get around to doing the next iteration of using that, of offering that, of giving that. It's like there's this resistance. Schedule's too crazy. This thing just came up. Now I'm sick. Now the money's not quite where it was before. Now, gosh, there is always dozens of reasons. So suddenly, this thing that you know is important, that you actually want to do, not even should do, but you want to do it, and yet when it gets close, it's like there's a resistance. Stephen Pressfield, he observes that, the more important an action is to a soul's evolution, the more important the work is to our growing into our full being, our full and highest and best self, the full gift we offer in the world, the closer we are getting to offering that kind of energy, that kind of person, that kind of creativity, that kind of courage, that kind of presence, the closer we're getting to that person, the higher the resistance that meets us. Some call it the enemy, some call it the devil, some call it the resistance. We have different words for it, but all of us know what this strange block is that starts to emerge over our heart. I keep making this motion because it is. It's like it starts to cover over the heart. And it usually comes by way of busyness, not enough money, just not enough time, just not feeling it, just a little sick. All these other people need me. It's always so many good and important and obvious reasons it's not going to work. And yet, cumulatively, it's resistance after resistance. Because something out there in this world knows that you are getting quite close to your most important work, your most valuable evolution yet in your soul and who you are becoming and how you are offering yourself in the world. And so you better believe if this very day you are sitting here and you're like, oh my gosh, it's not a podcast episode for me, but yeah, you know what? I have wanted to do this thing, start this thing, try this thing, sign up for this thing, even just 6 weeks, 8 weeks, give it a half year, give it 2 years, whatever your thing is. And you're thinking, that's me. And I know there keeps being resistance. I know there's always a good reason. You better believe that resistance is a sign. It's like a compass. It's saying, you know what? If the resistance is especially high around this particular thing that you want, that you do believe in, that you know you have gifts for, and you feel that the resistance feels especially high and crazy and busy and too much at all, that's a sign of just how important this particular thing is in your life in this season right now. It's so important that the resistance is full on 110%. It's like a full army coming right at you like, no, 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 do not let that out, because what you're about to offer, your breath of fresh air, your radio voice, your thing that people keep commenting on all the time, the iteration you're about to offer is going to change the game. The resistance knows it. If the resistance is high for you right now, you are on the cusp, honestly, of some of your finest work. Your resistance is your compass as to what you pay attention to, what you follow, what you prioritize. As soon as I say that word, I know that for most of us, the feeling is like, oh, prioritize. That's right. God, I need to get my priorities. That's right. Just need to get my priorities. Because we get stuck. We're like, I know, we need to push through the resistance and finally prioritize the thing that matters. I know the resistance is telling me how much this thing matters, this conversation, this action, this endeavor matters. And then we get defeated because we don't know how to prioritize our to-do list because there's all these other things. Two things that seem to always work when it comes to the resistance. One, community. I will tell you, I'm recording this podcast episode because literally two different coaches in my life met with me over Zoom within the last week and helped me commit myself to this date, this recording, this action right now. Doesn't matter that the studio is a little echoey. I haven't set up all of my stuff just like I wanted. It's kind of a wild background. I'm not fully prepared with some of my notes in all the ways I wanted. And you know what? does not matter. My community, where I invited accountability, where I invited them to know what I'm about and where my gifts are and what I want to do, my community said, here's what you need to do. I committed to it. And they helped me name it on my calendar. They helped me stay accountable. They cheered me through. And I'm doing it. A very imperfect episode. And I'm doing it. Community. Who are your people? Who are your people who can help you stay accountable? That's what they're there for, because they believe in you. The accountability is not a burden, but in fact a gift. Who are those people? 2, action. Any action. Honestly, we think, oh my gosh, I got to do a podcast episode. That means all these things. I got to download new software, get a camera, get a microphone, I've got to start this new business I want to do. I've got all these ideas. And of course, that means getting an LLC and a website and just getting a strategic plan of some sort and clients. And I want to start this new creative effort. I want to write a piece of music. And we can overload with all the things that means. Oh my gosh, all the details. Back up. You know what? Not just baby steps. I heard recently, turtle steps. Seriously, every little step matters. Forget about all the stuff, just a turtle step. Yep, you want to start podcasts? ChatGPT, a little advice. What are the 2 best platforms I can use to start streaming a podcast sooner than later? And provide step-by-step instructions for how that will work. Next thing you know, I'm off and going, because at least I got the baby step of which platform to start with. And then the next turtle step started to unfold from there. But just one turtle step. One. And if you start getting overwhelmed by all the other turtle steps that are coming to mind, just write them down. Piece of paper, just let them land somewhere. Bring them down to earth. Just let them land. Let them sit there, so they're not going crazy in your mind. And then one turtle step. You want to beat the resistance. Community. People who believe in you to the point they're willing to help keep you accountable, help encourage you, help build the plan. Community. Action. Like turtle step actions. The resistance before the face of those 2 things and the gifts you already have, amazing how soft it starts to get, because the power of what begins to come forth, it can't handle that. The resistance begins to dissipate into this expansive whatever is emerging in front of you that is, we sometimes use the word possibility, hope, creativity. We just start to see things emerge, because the thing is finally coming out of us. The resistance isn't guarding it. And now the field before us looks just so wide, so possible, so generative. I look forward to hearing your own stories about the resistance and the ways you're stepping through it. Thanks for joining me on this first episode of Everyday Canvas. And in another one of these episodes, I'll explain why in the world this podcast is called Everyday Canvas. Thanks again.